All right. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening from wherever you're tuning in from. I'm Scott Francis, the tech evangelist for PFU America. We're excited to bring you today's webcast with our new ScanSnap iX2500 scanner. I'd like to introduce our new product manager for ScanSnap, Mr. Chase Gutierrez. Chase, please say hello to our audience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chase Gutierrez. As Scott said, am the new product manager for ScanSnap. Super excited to be here today and talk with you all, and even more excited to talk about my favorite scanner, the new Ricoh iX2500. It's a great time to join the team. And yeah, I'm just excited for today, and I hope you guys are as well.
Awesome. Well, Chase, thanks for joining the team. And many of you out there may know Chase. He's one of our star product managers who has managed our Happy Hacking keyboard product line. So this is a great addition to the ScanSnap team. All right, before we get started with today's webcast, we've got some housekeeping items. First, on your screen on the right side, you're going to see several sections. One of them is resources. So you can see today's presentation, for instance, and our scanner product lineup. So you can check out all of our resources under the resource tab. We're also going to be doing several polls today. So as the poll questions come up, you can answer them. We'd love to get your feedback. You can actually visit the polls at any time during the webcast. And we also have a post-session survey. We'd love to know what you think about today's webcast, our new iX2500, what you'd like to see from our webcast moving forward. We'd love to get your feedback. And also, we're going to do a QA session at the end of today's presentation. So let us know questions for Chase or myself. We actually have connectivity to our engineering team as well. So if we can't answer a super technical question, we'd like to hear it anyways, and we'll certainly get back to everyone after today's webcast. And also, very important, after we get through the general session today, we're going to do a drawing. One of you is going to win an iX2500 scanner. So please make sure to stay tuned, and we'll be doing that drawing at the end of our slide presentation. And with that, let's get started. All right, so we're going to start with our poll questions. So many of you may be using ScanSnap already, and we'd like to find out which model you're using. So on the screen, you should see that question coming up about which ScanSnap model are you using? Let's see your responses. All right, I'm seeing some responses right away. We'll give it a couple of seconds. And I'll keep this poll question open, so if you want to revisit it at any time, you can do that. So far, the majority of you are using the iX1500 or iX1600. These are the models that came before the iX2500. Those are great scanners. Some of you are using the iX500 or 1500. About 30% of you, 13% have chosen a different ScanSnap model. That's great. And about 10% of you are new to ScanSnap. Well, welcome to the ScanSnap community. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that display, and we will jump to our next slide. All right, so if you are new to ScanSnap, it's more than just a scanner. And I can tell you from my own experience how great it is, but it really is about everyone on this webcast. You, our loyal customers, are the ones who have made ScanSnap great. Through you, we've sold over 7 million units since 2002. It is the most selling and, more importantly, most trusted scanning solution for individuals and small businesses. There are a lot of document scanners out there. When you look at the brochure, there's a lot of similar specifications, but in the real world, it's all about the performance. performance, the speed, the paper handling, the image quality and ease of use, and the intelligence of all of the automatic features. That's what makes a difference in the real world. And with ScanSnap, you truly get scanning in a snap. So let's do another poll question, and it's really tied into the last one about how long have you been using your ScanSnap scanner? So for the current model you're using, we'd like to know how long you've been using that model. So let me go ahead and launch that question. And here it is. So let's hear about how long you've been using your ScanSnap model. All right, I'm seeing some responses come already. This is always fun, especially when we're out at shows, to talk to our loyal customers and hear how long they've been using our products. So 7% of you, now 8%, have been using their model for less than 1 year. Maybe you've just bought one of our newer models. 38% of you have been using your ScanSnap scanner for 2 to 5 years. 32% of you, 5 to 10 years. And just about a quarter of you, 25%, have been using your ScanSnap for 10 years or longer. Well, that really is a testament to the quality and the reliability and durability of ScanSnap. Great responses. Thank you very much. If you've been using your ScanSnap model for a long time, you're going to love our new models. You're going to get all the performance you're used to, but you're going to get new speeds, new features, new productivity. My advice is give your older ScanSnap model away to a family member, or if you're an accountant or a lawyer, give it to one of your customers so they can scan documents to you so they don't have to bring them into the office. And buy the new iX2500. All right, well, thanks again for your responses. I'm going to go ahead and close that display, and we're going to move along in the presentation and introduce the iX2500. All right, so if you're using ScanSnap already, you get it. You know what it can do. If you're new to ScanSnap, it's all about having a fast, intelligent scanner that's easy to reach. You're not having to get up out of your chair and go walk over to an MFP. ScanSnap is small, it sits right on your desk, and it's super easy to use. Whether you're technical or not, ScanSnap is just easy to use because we build in all of those intelligent features, so you don't have to make decisions about scanner settings. Now, of course, if you want to fine-tune settings, we allow you to do that. We've got a lot of great controls, but just installing ScanSnap from its default operation, it works great, and all of those intelligent features are enabled. As we just saw from that last question, it's reliable. ScanSnap scanners keep scanning the first time and every time, and they last for years, in some cases more than a decade. It's a great investment because you know once you make that investment into ScanSnap, it's going to pay off over the long term. ScanSnap is fast, which means we're not wasting your time at work. If you're using it for business, if you're using it for personal use, we're going to maximize your time and productivity, and we all can use more time and productivity ScanSnap delivers. And it reduces document clutter. You know, the first thing that people typically do when they buy ScanSnap is they organize their desk. They scan all the paper they have in the office, and they can save that space. But more importantly, they can find information faster. So it's saving space, being able to connect to your information. If you're scanning into the cloud, you can access that information wherever you are. Allows you to communicate much more effectively. And again, if you're using ScanSnap for business, you can run your business at a faster speed with higher productivity, and you can deliver much better customer service. And that's an X factor to make sure you retain your customers and they recommend you to other customers to help you grow your business. In a nutshell, that's what ScanSnap is all about. All right, this is the new iX2500. It looks great. It's got a lot of great features and improvements. Chase, I want to ask you, when you got your new model, what were your first impressions?
Yeah, that's a great question, Scott. When I first unboxed my ScanSnap iX2500, the first thing that blew me away was, well, I'll back up. The 1600 was my first experience with the ScanSnap scanner, and I really liked the look and feel of it. But I definitely had a preference on the black model versus the white that you can kind of see in our backgrounds here. However, when I first unboxed my 2500s, the first thing was it has a much more sleek appearance. As you guys can maybe see in this picture, the engineering team did a lot with the angles and the aesthetics of the scanner itself to really make it look more impressive and almost like a piece that you could add to your desk, not just a functionality tool that you need for your desk. And then it's taken to my next point. I was actually blessed to be able to work with the new white model. And as you can see, it features this more pristine white color. In the HHKB world, if any of you guys are familiar, we have a bright white snow keyboard. And this white scanner is more reminiscent of that. This nice pure white color and it staying white even when you open the lid instead of the gray, once again, that you can see in the background here, really blew me away. This is a tool that, it looks like it's ready for the modern era. And the iX1600s also are very nice looking, but this one's an even step further, which, for a new user like me, really blew me away from the engineering team because of how much intent that you could tell they put into every little detail, down to just how does this thing look to the first eye. So I was very impressed.
That is great to hear. You've made some great points. Our engineers really take the attention to think about every aspect of the scanner, how it operates, how we can automate features, and how does it look? We want our ScanSnap products to fit into your office or home environment. And Chase, I agree. I think with the latest model, they've done an amazing job with the design of the model, not just the functionality and the improvements in the hardware, but just the aesthetics and how it looks. And I think our ScanSnap community is really going to love this new unit. And we've got both models in black and our new white. They both look great. All right, so let's start getting into the hardware improvements. Again, the new models look great and they deliver. But let's do a trivia question. So for those out there, I'm going to go ahead and open this next question and display it. How fast was the first ScanSnap scanner sold in the US? Was it 10 pages per minute, 15, 25, or 30 pages per minute? And I'll give everyone a clue. That model launched in 2002. All right, I'm seeing some answers come in. And I'm seeing 38%, 39% are choosing 10 pages per minute. 41% are at 15. 22% are at 25. And 2% are at 30. All right, these are all good responses. And let's look at the answer. Come back over here. The answer is 15 pages per minute, and it was our ScanSnap FI 4110 EOX2. So for those of you who have been using our models for a long, long time, you may remember ScanSnap. This is the first model that we shipped in the United States back in 2002. I remember when we launched this model, uh, it was a whole new game for us. And since then, again, we've sold 7 million units thanks to you, our loyal customers. So I'll go ahead and close that display. But again, thank you for participating in that trivia question. And the reason why we set it up here is because I want to talk about the functionality of the new iX2500. We're now scanning at 45 pages per minute. So over the 8 generations of ScanSnap models we've shipped, we've increased the speed by a 3x factor. And when we do that, it's not just about gearing up how ScanSnap can move paper through the scanner. There's a lot more that's involved. The paper handling, the image quality, all of that comes into play. So with ScanSnap, regardless of the model that you buy, you're going to get great paper handling and image quality. And of course, all of our units give you that intelligence and automatic processing. But the new models are at 45 pages per minute. And that's the same whether it's simplex or duplex. Now, of course, ScanSnap is going to scan in duplex and eliminate those blank pages so you don't have to. And as you can see here in the graph, that same speed is held all the way through best mode. So even if you're scanning in best mode, you're at 45 pages per minute full duplex. And if you're scanning in excellent mode, let's say you're scanning photographs, you can do 13 pages per minute for full A4 documents in excellent mode. So these are big improvements. The other major improvement is the 100-page ADF capacity. So that has effectively doubled from the iX1600. This allows you to scan up to 100 pages in the same batch. And that's really important. Again, when people typically get their scan snaps, they organize their office. They scan all of the boxes they have in the office or even in storage. When you're doing that initial backfile conversion with your ScanSnap model, that 100-page ADF capacity and that 45 page per minute scanning is going to help you get those jobs done a lot faster. And then as you move forward on a day forward basis, when you scan batches of documents, it's lightning quick. And if you've got longer documents, let's say you're a lawyer scanning case files, or you're a college professor scanning papers, some of those dissertations could be several hundred pages long. You can now scan those with that 100-page ADF. Now, of course, an expert trick is you can always create a profile with continuous scanning. What that means is you can fill up the ADF, scan all of those documents through, and then load more documents into the same batch, into the same PDF file, for instance. So that's one of the expert tricks you can use. But again, with the new model, we're at 100-page ADF capacity. Chase, I know you've been using your new scanners. How fast are they?
They're yeah, as you were saying, they're lightning quick. I personally haven't done too much big batch scanning for myself, but it rifles through the paper. And what I think is great about it is, as Scott kind of mentioned, it rifles through all sorts of types of paper, right? You can put receipts in there, you can mix it in with documents, photos, any kind of thing that you need to get onto your computer. For the most part, this scanner is going to be able to handle all the way up till A3 size. And so having that flexibility on top of the speed is where the efficiency really comes in, especially for a user like myself, where I maybe don't have the same consistent sets of documents, but I have, kind of like an anomaly, a smorgasbord, you could say, of all different types of things that I want to get to my device. And so this being able to adapt seamlessly with all the different weird little documents and photos from this event and things from college, maybe being able to just throw it all in the stack together, and the scanner be able to process it just as quick and very quick at that 45 page per minute is extremely helpful and makes kind of the headache that I have with my room a lot less of a headache and more of something that, like, okay, no, I can actually tackle this. I can really get through this and then have the peace of mind of having a very organized setup now.
Great points. It's lightning fast. And when I talk to customers who have used other scanners before they bought a ScanSnap, a lot of them talk about the need to babysit their scanner. They have to watch every page go through to make sure that there are no double feeds or paper jams. And they always tell me with ScanSnap, I just don't have to do it. I can load that batch, I can start the process, and then I can go back to email or whatever I was doing before I started to scan that document. And then when the document's scanned through, I can take out the paper and move forward. But with ScanSnap, it's all about getting it right the first time and every time. All right, another big change is we now have a 5-inch captive touchscreen display. So we've gone from 4.3 to 5 inches. And the difference between 4.3 and 5 may not seem like a lot, but here on this slide, you can kind of see the scale between a 4.3 and a 5-inch screen. It's much bigger, and that allows ScanSnap. It's just a lot easier to use. Here is an image of what that touchscreen looks like. So it's easy to see the profiles you're selecting. You can see the picture on the left. We have a big scan button with that green highlight that you can see. So you can quickly scan based on that profile. Chase, what were your first impressions when you started using that new 5-inch touchscreen display?
Yeah, this is another feature that I really love. Talk about, intentionality and innovation on an already great system. This LCD screen, one, it's very bright. And two, it's extremely adaptive. It kind of almost behaves. I've been linking it to, it's almost like you have an iPhone right there. You can swipe through very easily, and all of it just kind of reacts and has that resolution of what you would expect with like an iPhone. When you have a bunch of different profiles, as in that picture on the right there, you want to be able to, move around very seamlessly and comfortably. And this LCD screen really allows for that. Another thing is like that the size of it, you never it's so easy to use now. It becomes a lot more intuitive for any user because it's a little bit bigger, and it's brighter, the resolution's nice, and all the different profiles now have their own space to kind of operate and be seen by the viewer. Another thing though that Scott talked about too is we brought back the physical button, reminiscent of the iX500 and series prior, and I think that's also very important. It really leans on kind of the heritage of ScanSnap itself, where we all like having that tactile feedback of clicking the button so that I can scan, right? And having this feature, it's like we get the best of both worlds now. The iX1600 has a great, capacitive screen that we can interact with for, more advanced capabilities. But we also get the physical button that we've all come to love, us long-term ScanSnap users, and really, have that feeling of, you click that button and then you see the pages start rifling through at that extremely fast speed. So, having both of those really makes the experience of scanning a lot more easier and just more fun, to be honest.
Great points. I really want to call out to our engineers and thank them for listening to you, our customers. And this feedback comes from you. You love that button, and it's easy to use. If you're using the same profile like the quick menu, you can just put documents in and hit the scan button. You don't have to use the touchscreen display. But if you want to select a different profile, it's easy to do. As Chase mentioned, it's fast. There's a lot of products out there in the IT world, scanners, printers, and other products that have touchscreen displays, but many of them, those displays are small and they are slow. Our engineers made sure that this technology works really well. So when you get your iX2500, you'll see that firsthand. As Chase mentioned, you can swipe left or right. It's fast, it's responsive, it's easy to see, and the icons are big because we've got that larger screen. So I think there's a lot of great improvements with the iX2500, but this new 5-inch touchscreen display and the addition of the physical scanning button, these are home runs that really make this product even better than the last generation, which was the top selling model of all time. So, if we look on a yearly basis, we keep growing. The iX1600 set a lot of benchmarks. The iX2500 will do the same. We're excited about the new model. Another big improvement is setup, right? So we want to make sure that ScanSnap is easy to set up. A lot of you out there that I talk to are simply using ScanSnap with a USB connection. Well, the new scanner delivers. But if you want to go wireless, if you want to use this device with a tablet or your phone or direct to the cloud, you can do that as well. We've incorporated Bluetooth to be able to identify the unit that you're connecting to. So here on the screen, the example is you can open the cover of the scanner, and then you can choose the device based on the Bluetooth connection. So when I set mine up to my PC, I didn't have to connect ScanSnap via USB cable just to set up the wireless connection. I was able to find the scanner via Bluetooth. I was able to set it up quickly. So both the setup for the PC, whether it's a Windows or Mac, or a device, whether it's iOS or Android, is very easy with the Bluetooth connection. The connection itself for sending data and operating the scanner is still Wi-Fi. And the reason why is the Wi-Fi standard can just handle a lot more data. So we can keep up with this lightning fast scanning speeds of ScanSnap. But Bluetooth is how we initially find the devices. And so this is a key innovation in terms of setup that just makes it a lot easier. So the takeaway here is setting up your ScanSnap is now easier than ever. And I would suggest that all of you think about that wireless connectivity so you can free yourself from the USB cable. But again, USB cable, we've got a USB-C connection, lightning fast, easy to use for however you want to use ScanSnap, you can do it. Chase, how do you use your ScanSnap models? Do you use them with your Windows or Mac, or how do you connect your ScanSnap devices?
Yeah, I'd actually use a little bit of everything. I would say the most part I use my Windows, but I also have a personal Mac that I scan to a lot. One of my biggest things is I scan receipts quite often for different expense reports and things of that nature. So I like being able to get it straight to my PC. A lot of times I'll do the Wi-Fi connection, and the setup, like you said, super easy. It connects, as Scott explained, it connects through Bluetooth. But what I like about ScanSnap is it does so much stuff on the back end that if you're just using it, you don't even notice. I didn't notice that it was using Bluetooth or anything. I just noticed that it said, "Oh, enter the password on your device," and then ScanSnap will know it. And I was like, "Oh wow, I guess they're just like talking to each other already." Uh, and that's the point of ScanSnap. That's one of the main pillars, right? Is that we're trying to make this experience as powerful but as easy to use for our users. A lot of us, we don't want to have to learn a whole nother device and all the different intricacies and the ins and outs. We want the device to be working for us right out of the box. And so this was a big effort from our team to really improve upon that process. For myself, right, I'm honestly sometimes have a headache when I buy new technology because I just know it's going to take so long to set up before I can use it. With ScanSnap, though, I unboxed it, I set on my desk, and I got going. And within a couple minutes, I'm already ready to scan my first document. And so that ease of use, that peace of mind is really essential and a pillar of ScanSnap that we've further improved upon again with this new model.
Very well said, Chase. Easy to use, easy to set up. All right, but it doesn't stop there. We've got some great new technology. So first, as I mentioned earlier, when we increase the speeds, it's not just about the gears themselves. It's about the paper handling, the image quality. And what we do is we take feeding technology from our higher end FI series scanning models and we bring those down into ScanSnap. So with the iX2500, we have our separation roller technology. You can see the diagram on the lower left. This allows our gears to turn in different ways to separate documents. So when you load up to 100 documents in your ADF, we're able to reliably separate them. And we have very solid ultrasonic multi-feed sensors. You'll see that on the left to make sure that two documents are not accidentally going through the scanner at the same time. One of our new features for the iX2500 is our image monitoring technology. So let's say that you're on the phone and you're loading documents and you accidentally put a document into ScanSnap that is so crooked, so skewed, that it may cause a problem to the document when ScanSnap pulls it through. We now have sensor technology that will detect a high degree of skew and it will stop scanning before the document is damaged. So again, if you're feeding documents carefully into ScanSnap or just regular, you're going to have a great experience. But if for some reason that document is skewed at a very high degree, we're going to capture that with the sensor before it's pulled through and possibly damaged by the scanner. This new paper protection functionality comes again from our higher end scanners, and it's now available in the iX2500. All right, let's shift and let's talk about photograph scanning. So it's time for our next poll question. I'm opening that up and displaying that on the screen. We'd like to know if you scan your photographs. Do you have a lot of photographs that you've amassed over the years? Choices, yes, no, or no, but I have a lot of photographs that need to be scanned. Let's see your responses out there. So far, half of you are saying yes, you do scan photographs. And 30% of you are saying no, you are not scanning photographs. And 24% are saying no, but you have a lot of photographs that need to be scanned. So I should have come up with choice D, which is mine, which is yes, I scan photographs, but I still have a lot more to be scanned. Chase, how about you? Have you tried photograph scanning with your new iX2500?
Yeah, I've scanned a few photographs, and I don't have as many of the, paper photographs as maybe I should. My mom has most of them, I will say, but I've scanned a few, and it works really great. The image processing is top notch, and it's something that I'm looking forward to. Now that after this webcast and everything, when I see my parents again, maybe we've been bringing my 2500 and saying, "Mom, like let's get these onto the computer so we can all see those photos again as a family."
Yeah, I think that it's a great way, Chase, because you're going through, you're reminiscing with your family about those memories as you're scanning them through. And my own experience is the family's always impressed with the technology as well.
Mhm.
So we're seeing many of you are scanning photographs or you're looking to do it. So as Chase mentioned, we've got some cool functionality to scan those photographs. So if you look at this slide, the ability for us to auto rotate based on a face is a great feature. So typically, auto rotation works on the text in a document, but we have it for photos as well, even if there's no text. So that's a great feature. It will just save you a lot of time from having to rotate images after the fact. We can do brightness and contrast adjustment to bring out all the details in your photos. We can also restore faded colors or remove red eye. And we can also recognize the dates on photos and use that as part of the file name. So these are all great features. A lot of the customers I've talked to, they've amassed shoe boxes of photos, maybe from an uncle who died at the age of 103, and they want to preserve those photos. This is a lot easier than trying to use a flatbed scanner. It's a lot less expensive than taking those into a photo scanning kiosk, and you can do it yourself. So again, if you're not scanning photos, think about it. It's a great application, whether it's personal or maybe it's a business aspect. You've got property photos coming in. If you're a real estate agent, you want to be able to scan those, you can do that quickly. So again, photo scanning in a snap with the new iX2500. And it's not just photos. Chase mentioned briefly being able to scan A3 documents. Chase, talk about how we can scan an A3 or double letter document with the iX2500.
Yeah, as you can kind of see in that diagram here with the bifolded documents image, you can actually fold an A3 size document, in half, feed it through the scanner, and it'll be able to stitch them together into one complete document. So you won't get just like two halves of the scan. It'll actually recognize the A3 size and then stitch them together in the proper format, make sure the the rotation's correct, and then you'll get the one scan that you were looking for. Once again, it's doing all of this without you needing to do any special, operations or advanced settings or anything like that. It's allowing you to have these advanced capabilities without needing to, one, know about them, and two, know how to really configure them on the scanner. ScanSnap's really trying to make it easy on you while being able to do these advanced capabilities.
Great points. If you've got long receipts, another great way you can scan those with ScanSnap. So documents beyond legal size, we've got you covered. All right. So let's talk about connectivity. We talked about the ease of installation, but here's our next poll question. Let me go ahead and launch it here. And let's find out how you are connecting your ScanSnap. Are you using your ScanSnap with a PC, with a Mac? Are you using it with a phone or a tablet? Or are you scanning directly to the cloud? In this question, you can select multiple choices. So if you're using it with your PC and Mac, go ahead and click on both. All right. You guys are quick today. I'm looking at those responses. Half of you are scanning to your PC. Over 30% are scanning to your Mac. 8% are going to your phone or tablet, 8% directly to the cloud, and some of you are new to ScanSnap, and that's great. We hope you're getting a lot out of today's webcast. Using ScanSnap, it's a game changer. It really makes a huge difference. All right, and these responses are pretty much in line with previous surveys we've done or when we talk to customers at events. ScanSnap can be used with your PC or Mac, but it can also be used with your device or direct to the cloud, and we're going to talk about that now. So let me go ahead and close the display, and we will talk about those different methods. All right, first, you can scan with the connected USB-C cable. It works great, but you can also scan wirelessly to your Mac, PC, or tablet or phone. As Chase mentioned, the setup is very easy. This allows you to have ScanSnap in a convenient place. You may want to get rid of an extra USB cable and have less clutter on your desk. It works great, and you can have it connected to your computer and your devices. It's not just one, you can have them connected to multiple devices. Scanning directly to the cloud is even a better solution for speed. And the reason why is when you connect your ScanSnap to your router and then to our ScanSnap cloud service, which is a free service, there's no monthly fee for ScanSnap. It's not a storage service, it's a connectivity service. It's an image processing service. So with ScanSnap Cloud, I can walk up to my ScanSnap, I can load documents, and I can choose that cloud destination, or I can choose to send it to email addresses that are outlined in the profile. I can walk up, load my documents, select that profile, and ScanSnap will scan them to that destination. It's faster because I don't have to turn on my PC. I don't have to break out my phone or tablet to initiate scanning. It's just a direct load documents, select the profile, and hit the button with the green outline, and you're ready to go. So for those of you who have not done direct cloud scanning, I would urge you to try it for ad hoc scanning. Let's say the mail comes in, you just want to capture those really quick. Let's say you've got a purchase order that you want to send to a specific contact in your order processing department. You can just put it in, hit that profile, hit the button, and they've got that document. ScanSnap Cloud will make documents searchable so we can create full text PDF documents. So there's a lot of value in what we can do in ScanSnap Cloud. And again, with the email feature, your profile can have multiple email addresses in every profile. And when you scan to that profile, we'll generate an email through ScanSnap Cloud and send it right to those addresses on your behalf. So these are great functionality. We saw in the survey here that less than 10% of you are using this feature, but it's free, it's included with ScanSnap, and it works great. And best yet, you can still use your traditional profiles to scan to your computer, your tablet, or your phone. So it doesn't replace that. You can do all of the above. And regardless of what method you choose, you get the speed, the ease of use, and the quality that ScanSnap provides. And feel free to call our tech support department, 1-800-626-4686, and we'll walk you through how ScanSnap works. And we'll put that support phone number right in the post-event email, so you've got it. With ScanSnap, you get toll-free support. We don't talk about that enough. So if you have a question about ScanSnap, if you want help in hooking things up, call us up. We're happy to help. All right. One of the great hardware improvements of the iX2500 is a new hardware chip technology. Our new EGA next generation system on a chip allows for faster processing. So again, we're taking the time and materials to make sure that ScanSnap is going to have great performance. So that new EGA chip helps us maintain faster scanning speeds. It does image processing regardless of what device you're connected to. It helps control that large touchscreen display and maintain the speed and responsiveness of that touchscreen. And it allows for new secure connections with the Wi-Fi 6 and the WPA3 standards. So all of that's included in hardware. So it's an expensive thing to do, but we spare no expense with ScanSnap to make sure you're satisfied and you've got a great solution. We've updated ScanSnap Home for both PC, Mac, and for mobile. Mobile's on the right, PC and Mac are on the left. This is a great application. It's a turnkey file management application. As we look at ScanSnap Home for PC, it works again for Windows and Mac. You can recognize different document types. You can assign categorization tabs to make sure you can easily retrieve your documents. You can also even convert data to Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Chase, what do you think about ScanSnap Home?
Yeah, another thing that is great about ScanSnap is ScanSnap Home itself. It's a great document manager, but it's also just really helpful because you can do all sorts of stuff with your document after the scan, which coming into this team and everything, I thought the main thing was, we have this great image processing, we have reliable scanning, and it gets to where you want it to go, which is all very true. But ScanSnap Home takes it a step further and allows you to do certain things. One thing that I personally was most blown away with was you can scan a document, and we have the feature through it's called Abby Fine Reader. We can actually convert those into things like a Word document or a PowerPoint slide or even an Excel sheet. Those things blew me away because now if you have a flyer or something that you grab, you can scan it, put it into Word, and now it's editable text, which really takes scanning just a step further beyond just now you have the file digitized. Now it's digitized and amendable if you need to amend it. Another thing, like on the receipt side, you can take that receipt and turn it into a .csv file, which is another great thing because a lot of us, we want to scan our receipts, but the most important thing about scanning your receipts is actually the information. So if you want to batch scan receipts and turn it into an Excel table, you can now. And that's all through the power of ScanSnap Home and the features that it offers.
It works great. Repurposing those documents to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, we maintain graphics, formatting, and as Chase mentioned, it's just easier to make edits or changes to those documents. Maybe it's a form, it's a flyer. It's easy to do. All right, so if you're not using ScanSnap Home, that's okay. There's a lot of other ways to use ScanSnap. Here's another trivia question. How many software integrations are there for ScanSnap? So let's go ahead and launch that question. And let's hear from you about how many integrations do you think there are for ScanSnap? And as we wait for those responses, as Chase mentioned, You can scan documents into ScanSnap Home, and then you can do more things with them. Or next, we'll talk about our quick menu, which is another way to scan documents and then decide where to send them. All right, we've got some knowledgeable attendees on today's call because 50% of you are jumping right to more than 20. And the answer is yes. Some of you may not know this, but we have over 20 integrations with ScanSnap. Some of those integrations are through ScanSnap Cloud. Some of them are with desktop applications. We've added some new applications we're going to talk about for team collaboration with the iX2500. They are easy to use. So over 20 integrations. And again, regardless of what integration you're using, you get all of ScanSnap's speed and intelligence. All right, I'll close that display and we will move forward. The new quick menu. It's clean, it's redesigned. Scan your document, launch the quick menu, and then choose where to put that document. So it's easy to use. On the bottom, you can see that we've added some new integrations with Microsoft Teams, OneNote, and Notion. These are all collaboration, productivity softwares. We've got our tried and true scan to email, scan to print. You can add profiles here. You can scan to Adobe Acrobat, for instance. We give you Tungsten Automation, formerly Kofax's Power PDF standard software for Windows or Mac. That's an added benefit of buying the iX2500. So again, it's easy to use these integrations. And one of the new ways that we can do it is drag and drop. So Chase, why don't you talk about the drag and drop capabilities for Microsoft Teams?
Yeah, certainly, Scott. One thing that I do want to harp on as well is that ease of use that Scott's describing. Within this quick menu, you'll see in the screenshot, we have a lot of those default profiles, but likewise, a lot of our integrations are now available through the quick menu as well. So not only do you not have to know too much about setting up an integration, you might be able to discover new integrations that you might not have known about. Such as like Neat or Property Matrix, different softwares that your company may use, you can discover through the quick menu. And using the quick menu allows you to have those capabilities, essentially have that direct integration without needing to set up a ScanSnap cloud connection to it, which is really great. Once again, harping on that ease of use, and this drag and drop feature does that same thing. In this example, on the slide here, you can see it's drag and drop to Teams. And it's cool because when you scan to the quick menu profile, your scan will go in. This screen will pop up. You can click drag and drop to Teams. Then you'll have this intermediate window pop up. And in here, you have a couple options. One of them is you can preview the scan if you want to make sure that everything's looking good before you send it off. But from there, all you do is you click onto that PDF icon, and then you simply, as it says in the name, drag it into the platform, in this case, Teams. We really wanted to incorporate a feature like this because, on that ease of use factor, we wanted to make scanning and scanning to destinations more intuitive and give more intuitive options. A lot of us are very familiar with dragging and dropping for all sorts of different use cases. And so this is just another way to lean into what we already know as technology users versus having more people learn our new system. So this drag and drop really opens up that toolbox. The feature I really like the most, I would say, is the one that's right to the left of the drag and drop to Teams, and it's called drag to send. This is going to be your de facto, all-in-one, can drag to anywhere that can take it. So, Slack, Google Drive, anywhere where you can drag into, this is the button you'll click, and you'll be able to drag that scan into anything. So you're not just limited to the Teams, the Notion, and the SharePoint. You can drag and drop to any service. And say you like drag and drop into all sorts of places, this intermediate window won't close until you're done. So if I want to drag and drop to Teams and Google Drive and Box and OneDrive and so on and so forth, you can drag and drop for as long as you want. This won't close until you click that you're done.
It works great. It's fast, easy. really like the new quick menu and the drag and drop. All right. Well, team, I think we're just about done with today's presentation, and we're going to be moving towards the drawing and the QA session. So make sure to enter your questions if you haven't already. I was just looking. It looks like we've got a lot of great questions. But before we do, don't forget, there's a whole family of ScanSnap scanners. Many of you have multiple models. You'll use the, maybe you were using the iX1600 in the office and the iX100 when you go on site to see customers. Different models for different purposes. But again, we've got you covered because we give you the ScanSnap way of life, the value, that ease of use in a variety of product formats. The new iX2500 is our new flagship. It is an awesome scanner. All right, as I mentioned, it's time for the drawing. So we are now looking at everyone who's still on the webcast. And it looks like Todd Stone, congratulations. You have won a new iX2500, and you get to choose whether you want the black or white model. So our events team will be contacting you to get the shipping address. Let us know if you want the black or white model. All right, and as I mentioned, it's time for the QA. It's been a great webcast, but we've just got about 8 minutes left, so we won't get to everyone's question during the webcast, but we will respond to every message that has come in. So please let us know your questions. And also, when you get our post-event email, feel free to fire it back with additional thoughts and questions. Let's start a conversation. We are looking forward to having it with you. All right, first question. What is the size difference between the iX500 and iX2500? I have a limited spot for it. Well, thank you for the question. And the answer is the iX2500 is slightly larger than the iX500, but will certainly fit in the same exact spot. The size is almost the same, but it's slightly bigger because we now have a 100-page ADF. So we need to make the ADF able to handle 100 documents, and that's why it is slightly larger, but it really isn't. When you see it, it's going to fit in the same spot. It's that shoebox size scanner. It delivers. All right, let's look to see what other questions we have. Can you rearrange the scan options on the display? Yes, with ScanSnap Home for PC or Mac, you can go ahead and rearrange where those profiles are on the display. And next question, will the iX2500 accept 11 by 17 paper? Yes, as Chase mentioned, you can fold those double letter documents and scan them in a single pass, and we'll stitch them back together. What are options for integration with our workflow software? So beyond the integrations I've mentioned, or the ones that we've discussed today, you can use ScanSnap with a variety of different applications. You can use a watched folder system. Most applications out there can watch a folder and ingest a file. So ScanSnap can have a profile that scans to a specific folder, and then that application picks up the information and brings it into a workflow. Another way, a lot of new software applications, especially ones in the cloud, will give you a unique email address. And when you send a document to that email address, it starts a workflow. So ScanSnap and the scanned email functionality, whether you use the client email system on your computer or you use our ScanSnap Cloud web email, you can scan right to that email address and kick off that workflow. So those are just two ideas, and there's more. So feel free to contact us, and we'd be happy to kind of give you tips on how you can make it work with your software. Next
Yeah,
question.
and to add to that, going back to the quick menu with the drag and drop feature, if your software takes in drag documents, that's another way. And one thing that's cool too is if you use the drag and drop to the same destination a few different times, the quick menu will actually learn this, and they'll say, I notice you're using this quite often. Do you want this to just be a profile? And if you click that, you can then skip the quick menu part, and it'll go straight to that drag capability.
Great point. Now with drag and drop, you've got even more ways to seamlessly get files from point A to point B. Thank you, Chase. Next question. I've used Neat and their NC1000 scanner for years. How well does the iX2500 integrate with Neat? And the answer is it works great with Neat. In fact, our next webcast, we'd love to have you back in August. We'll be doing our webcast with Neat, and we'll be talking about all the great ways that we can scan to Neat, either through their desktop application or through our ScanSnap web email, which will put documents directly into Neat. We've got our ScanSnap cloud integration as well. So we've got multiple ways, but the answer is yes. ScanSnap works great with Neat. Stay tuned for that webcast coming up next month, and we'll actually be showing you that product in action. We'll show you the iX2500 working with Neat. All right, let's see. We'll get a couple more questions in. Does the iX2500 have an Ethernet RJ45 port? Would there be a dust cover for the iX2500? We don't offer a dust cover ourselves, but there are third-party generic covers that you could buy for your ScanSnap. And on the network connection, no, we just have the USB-C, but we also have the wireless connectivity. So if you have a network, you can connect to it over the network. And again, we're now supporting all the way up to IPv6. All right, let's see what else we have in terms of questions. What is the resolution from a photo standpoint? So our optical resolution with the iX2500 is 600 dpi. And so that you can achieve that through excellent mode. It's not interpolated. That's the optical resolution. And that's great for photos. Now, if you're looking to scan a photo and blow it up into a 20 by 30 print, you're going to want to use a flatbed scanner for that. But if you're scanning photos to reproduce on a digital picture frame, on your tablet, your phone, a regular video screen, it is awesome. So again, it's just having the right device for photograph capture. You can use that excellent mode and get great image quality. And I'm getting some great tips on some videos we can produce. Yes, agreed. These are all great comments, and we will do them. So thank you very much for those questions. And I'm getting some questions about doing some advanced separation, being able to scan 100 documents and separate the first 10, then the next 5, then the next 2, then the next 10, et cetera, et cetera. So you can scan those documents into ScanSnap Home and do post-processing. So that's one of the ways to do that. Also, the Kofax now Tungsten Automation Power PDF software gives you some great PDF manipulation capabilities. But if you've got a higher end workflow where you really need that type of processing, our PaperStream Capture Pro software with one of our FI series scanners is also a great solution. So call us up, send us an email, let us hear more about your requirements, but there's some great options with ScanSnap, and there's some even more advanced options with our PaperStream Capture Pro that can do some very sophisticated file identification and separation. All right. Do we need to have the new scanner for these features? Well, it depends. If you've got one of our current ScanSnap models, the upgrade to ScanSnap Home is available. So just go into your ScanSnap Home software and check for updates, and you'll be able to get the latest version of ScanSnap Home. Some of the features we're talking about are unique to the iX2500, but the new software is available for all of our currently supported ScanSnap models, and that's software for PC, Mac, or iOS or Android. So make sure to upgrade to the latest version of ScanSnap Home so you can get features like that drag and drop functionality that we've been talking about, or the photograph functionality that we've been talking about. All right, we're right at the top of the hour. So again, if we didn't get to your question, thank you for sending them. We will get back to you. If you think of a question later on, you'll be getting a post-event email. So make sure to let us know your thoughts. Don't forget about the post-event survey. And finally, Chase, tell us about where we'll be next.
Yeah, so in this last slide, you can see we have a couple of exciting upcoming events that I hope to see you all at. The first one is actually next week. We'll be at the NatP National Taxposium. So if any of you guys are there, feel free to stop by the ScanSnap booth. We will have the iX2500 there, so we can do some demos for you. We can talk about the scanner. You can see, the speeds, interact with the LCD screen. The other event that we have coming up is in October, and it'll be ClioCon. So either of those events, we'll have a booth. I will be there with my great coworker Amanda, and we'll be excited to talk to you about ScanSnap. Also, I will pitch. Make sure if you guys want to stay up to date with new product announcements. We do a bunch of giveaways, things like that. Make sure to follow us on social media too. It's just at ScanSnap_US. And then you can stay up to date with all the feature updates that we have that come. And like I said, we do giveaways pretty consistently. So, you might be able to win yourself some free scanners in the future, but you got to make sure to follow us at ScanSnap_US.
Awesome, Chase. Thank you very much. And team, don't forget, we've got our next webcast coming up next month with neat receipts and more to come after that. So again, from Chase and myself, we want to thank you very much for attending today's webcast and look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
Yes, thank you so much.